your walls are off, everything, like you can't frame accurately if your foundation is off. The foundation is the most important part of the build, and it's probably the most underrated. It's the least sexy part of the build, but today I want to talk about foundations, what actually goes into the process of creating your home's foundations, the different types of foundations, the legwork it takes to getting the ground ready for a foundation, the surveying it takes. There's a lot of hidden stuff that happens before that concrete slab turns into your foundation. So let's start at the beginning. Before any foundation work really begins, you need a survey. The survey determines where a house can legally be placed on a lot. Architectural plans must conform to the survey, not the other way around. So there are two types of surveys. There is a boundary survey and a topography survey. A boundary survey will give you property lines and easements, setbacks. A topography survey will give you elevation changes and drainage patterns. Most people will only require boundary surveys for what developers need. Clancy Lane required both a boundary survey and a topography survey. The engineer of record needs the surveys done so they can produce a grading plan. A grading plan is basically what your earth is doing on your lot. If you have a basement, if you're going to be elevating your foundation, you need to know where your ground is sitting. The surveyor took a drone out and they were performing both surveys via drone. And I was not aware that the engineer would not accept a drone survey. Fast forward, basically the engineer did the grading plan based off this LiDAR and it was inaccurate. I had to hire a boots on the ground surveyor. And those are very rare these days, apparently, I learned. Every piece of property should have a benchmark on it. Clancy Lane did not have a benchmark. They have to go to the next closest benchmark, and that was 2 lots away. And then basically reverse engineer it. They had to then put a benchmark in at Clancy Lane in the ground and then start the survey. From this point, they established the lot lines, the boundary lines for this lot. So it was a long process is what I'm saying to establish the boundary lines and the lot lines for Clancy Lane. It is a very old property and there had not been a survey done. So that is why this process took so long. But again, having your engineer of record will guide you through this, and they will also have a surveyor that they hopefully will be their right-hand man who will help you through this process as well. I added $3,000 to my budget. It cost me about 3 weeks extra time, a lot of misinformation or just uneducation about what is involved. You're now ready to start working on your foundation. So there are 2 types of foundations. There are slab-on-grade foundations. That foundation is a flat foundation. Basically think of pancake on the ground. They are usually 8 to 10 inches thick, sometimes 12 if you are in a garage area or anything that's going to have a really high impact. Or you can have a piered foundation, which they're raised foundations. And in those cases, you will have a crawl space underneath. There are pros and cons to both types of foundations. As a developer and as someone who lives in Southern California, we mostly see slab on grade for a few reasons. One, we are in an earthquake zone, so slab on grade is much more friendly for those reasons. Earthquakes, like things that are on the ground. I mean, it's, obvious reasons there. It's also cheaper. For those 2 reasons, those are pros of the slab on grade. The cons for slab on grade are that if you wanted to move the location of your kitchen island, let's say the plumbing, you are having to saw cut up your concrete floor and it's a big mess. Or if there, let's say even worse, there's a leak, You have no access basically. So if you have an elevated floor, you can access everything underneath. You have that crawl space. You also have extra storage for all you women out there. You'll love that. But pier construction is more expensive. It's also a great way to take advantage of views. You will see it often in floodplain areas. So again, disclaimer, I've never built in a floodplain area, so check your local codes. It's very common, also very common in sloped areas to do that type of construction, pier construction. The other pro to, as a designer in me, the other pro to slab on grade is that you can run flooring from the inside out and you get this really nice, modern, seamless look. So I think each of the foundations has its pros and cons, but it's really, in my experience, it's really location dependent.